Welcome to After the Pool, the video series where I take you through the lands or the worlds or the realms of Marvel, DC, and Independent. And I share all my thoughts and opinions with you guys. And by the time we get to the end of it, I do choose a comic book pick of the week. And we also talk about a classic story as well. Guys, I'm Mike Spider Slayer. Welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. If you love daily comic book content, you like me helping you make decisions on what comic books to buy, you came to the right place. Hit the subscribe button. Great show for you today. Lots of comics to discuss. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to Marvel Comics. So we have 8 Marvel comics to discuss this week, quite a few. And coming in at number 8 goes to Radioactive Spider-Man. Listen, the first issue I didn't like so much. This second issue I did like a little bit better. The artwork is fine for what it is. It is written by Joe Kelly, who obviously writes the current ongoing Spider-Man series. And we just get the continuation of Spider-Man dealing with this mutant virus that is hitting the town. And obviously we get to see some decent family moments here between him and Aunt May, and his aunt definitely suffering and the mutant virus kind of evolving on Aunt May and what happened to Mary Jane. And so there was some fun moments in here, especially with the Spider family in here, and kind of Miles Morales holds it against Peter here on kind of what happened to other people. So I did think this one was a lot better. Again, the standards are not too high when it comes to these Age of Revelation books, but much improved book. So I would recommend this. I think this is pretty good if you're a Spider-Man fan. But again, there was a lot of other better Marvel books in my opinion. All right, moving on to number 7 here. We have the Ultimates. This is issue 18. So we're getting ready to wrap this whole thing up very soon. And basically what this issue is almost kind of like it was like almost like a catch-up issue of like what everything's been going on, right? Until this point, the Maker's been put away. He's taken 2 years to come back, and we've gathered all these people to become part of the Ultimates, and we need your help. And so basically what this issue was just a rally cry. The artwork was pretty good in it. I did like Iron Lad's message in here, and it kind of, sets the stage for things to come when it comes to the story at hand. I think it's been dragged out. It needs to finish up already, but not a horrible issue. It's just one of those things where it's just like, okay, let's move on already. Coming in at number 6, we have the conclusion to Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe. So this was just another fun issue when it comes to this series, where we got to see our Marvel's superheroes do battle against Godzilla here, and they've created a mech or a Voltron-like character, and you get to see all the superpowers used, and we do find out that they do prevail against Godzilla here, and they kind of send them off to like a planet or the moon or whatever it is, and it's like Planet Godzilla, and all Godzilla wants is just basic peace. But by the time you do get to the end of this issue, this is not the end of it. There is going to be a continuation to it, and I was kind of like, whoa, I did not see this coming. And that's what made this actual conclusion a solid conclusion. So I definitely really enjoyed this, and I'm curious to see if or when they will follow this story up. So pretty cool ending. I want to know if you guys like this series, and did you expect that ending? All right, so coming in at number 5 now, we have Marvel, or Predator kills the Marvel Universe. So we've got a lot of these, and this one's written by Benjamin Percy. And in this issue, you just get to see the continuation of like death happening amongst our Marvel heroes and the Predators, right? And just seeing all the different cast of characters just getting killed off like one by one is actually pretty awesome. We get to see like vibranium bullets used, and you wind up getting to see Thor fall, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's freaking cool. Like I really like that. There's just some really good and gritty moments in here, especially where you have a moment with Wolverine and Nightcrawler. I thought was awesome. Like, look at that. So well done. It just kind of has you at the edge of your seat. That's what Benjamin Percy does great. There's not a lot of in-depth dialogue, but it's fun. It's a great comic book, and then you wind up getting introduced to this Weapon X Predator who can maybe turn the tide for our heroes here. So we'll have to wait and see and find out. Sue Storm is in this book trying to get revenge too. Just an awesome comic. I really liked it. All right. Coming in at number 4, we have the better side of things on The Amazing Spider-Man. This is when it's grounded. This is issue 16 as we're dealing with Norman Osborn, Ben Reilly in this series. And we get to see Norman still dealing with the situation at hand where he's just like, man, this is what it's like to kind of be a hero. And this is kind of like what it's been like to be Peter Parker, right? Now, the artwork, it is what it is. It's done by John Romita Jr. Not a lot of action in this issue. We wind up getting to see also Ben Reilly come with his partner Brian on this breakthrough with this science experiment that they've been working on as well. And then what made this issue really cool was the Tombstone and Norman Osborn moments, because Tombstone is really realizes that the Spider-Man that's here in front of him is not Peter Parker. He knows it. He knows something is going on, and those moments there were actually really good. So this issue was much improved. I enjoy this so much more than the cosmic stuff. Whether you guys agree or disagree, I want to know in the comments below. What do you think about Amazing Spider-Man right now? Do you like the cosmic stuff better, or do you like the grounded stuff better? Much improved issue. Really like this one. Here we go. Top 3. Coming in at number 3, we have all new Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider. This is issue 4. This series has been slowly getting better for me. I've really enjoyed it. And what made this one kind of over the top is really the team up between Spider-Gwen and Flash Thompson, as he is Anti-Venom or Agent Venom or whatever you want to call him, right? And he's teaming up to try to stop this new symbiote that's possessing Gwen Stacy's boyfriend at the time. They're in this prison, or they're in Rikers Island, and we wind up getting to see the symbiote, right? He's trying to free his dad. And the funniest thing about this comic book was the interactions with Gwen and Thompson here when they're trying to convince the army or the National Guard to go in this prison to say, let us try to save some people, give us a chance, right? And Flash is just like, and he's just like, kind of like, and why would we want you to do that? And he goes, because you don't send a bomb to stop a disease, you send the cure. And so they walk in, and then Gwen says, I didn't know you had a catchphrase. And he goes, what? I don't have a catchphrase. And then she goes, you send the cure. And you see her like mock him. It's just good. I like it. There's very good character moments in here. Good action, dark and gritty artwork. So this is good. This is definitely top 3 material when it comes to the Marvel side of things this week. All right, coming in at number 2, we have The Punisher. This is issue 3, the Red Band edition. This is a book where, you know, what's his name? Punisher is trying to figure out who he is, who's controlling him. He knows that something's wrong, but along the way, you know, he's stopping this trafficking incident. And this book is just much more darker and grittier. It definitely warrants the Red Band title this time around. He blows a guy's brains out. We get to see Tombstone trying to find some information to see, you know, who is the guy that you found. You know, he went to that lady and whatnot. And she's like, if you don't give me the information, I'm going to chop off this guy's fingers. I'm going to chop off this guy's hands. And we get to see Frank just struggling to figure out who he is. It's just, there's so much stuff that goes on in this issue. And but yeah, here's that part where he's chopping off the guy's fingers. It's so funny, dude. I actually love it. I mean, it's not funny, but it is an interesting comic. And again, Benjamin Percy writes it. So I really enjoyed this one. Much darker than the last issue. But my number one top pick, believe it or not, from Marvel this week goes to One World Under Doom issue 9. This might be a surprise for you guys, but I think the way this event kind of concluded, it's continuing on with, I think, the Will of Doom or something like that. I thought it was good because it shows you that, you know, no matter how evil or diabolical or the point of view of Doctor Doom is, like, no matter what, Valeria is like the most important thing in his life, and he will sacrifice his life in order to keep her alive. So if you read the last issue, we wind up seeing her dying, right? And in this issue, he goes through pretty much all the higher rankings of the Marvel Cosmic Universe to try to bargain to bring Valeria back, right? And so he had to give up his obviously being Sorcerer Doom, and he also had to give up his life, and he had to go to the Living Tribunal to actually do that. One of the strongest and beings in the Marvel Cosmic Universe, right? And so again, it shows you that this goddaughter of his was the most important thing of his life, but he's willing to give up everything for her, right? And at the end of it, you wind up getting to see, and this is no surprise, like he's dying, and we wind up getting to see his will, I guess, pass to Reed Richards here, and we're going to see where he goes from there. So I liked it because of the emotional aspect. Now, this event was not the greatest thing ever, right? It was very inconsistent in my eyes, but for me, it ended pretty strong. It ended very emotional, and I like that. And so, hey, it may not be for everybody, but at least I liked it, and I thought it was a top pick from Marvel this week. And welcome to DC Comics, and we have only 4 to discuss this week. And the first one we're talking about is Superman Unlimited. This is issue 7, written by Dan Slott. Now, in this book, the artwork is pretty solid, but when it comes to this issue, it's no longer really focused about Clark, at least for right now anyway, as this one is featured around Superboy. And in this issue, we wind up seeing Lois give John the task of becoming the, I guess, reporter for Smallville, right? And she gives him the task of coming up with the story, not using superpowers and whatnot. And so, yeah, it was just like one of those issues where it didn't really mean anything. We wind up getting to see him go to, Steele's workplace and find out there's some kind of like mole men living on the bottom of the earth, and it was just one of those stories where it's like, you could pretty much take it or leave it. Wasn't my favorite issue of the week, right? And I guess when it comes to Superman Unlimited, there's been a couple of decent issues here, but it's not really exciting me all that much, and I think I'm gonna drop this book. Not because it's really poorly written or anything, but it's one of those books that you just don't really need, especially when there's so many other Superman titles out there right now. So I think I'm going to drop this one going forward. What do you guys think? Am I making the right decision here? Let me know in the comments below. Coming in at number 3, we have DCKO Tie-In Titans issue 29. So this continues the story of our heroes evacuating the humans from Earth because, you know, obviously Earth is becoming apocalypse here. And so what happens is our Titans find refuge in Gem World. So I didn't see that. And so they come across Amethyst here, and there's a lot of like talking head stuff happening. And the cliffhanger was very short-lived from the last issue, right? You saw Starfire come across like Granny and everybody else and the parademons, but they just retreat just to go to Earth, right? And Starfire also gets assistance from the Green Lantern Corps, so that didn't really mean anything in here. And the only real tie-in that happens with DCKO is just you wind up seeing Cyborg at the end of it all getting ready to do his battle. So that was really it. I mean, between the whole stuff them evacuating Earth and then living on Gem World and then Cyborg going in a tournament. I mean, it is what it is. This one was okay. It wasn't the greatest. And so Titans continues to kind of disappoint me. Like, I read it from the beginning and I dropped it because I didn't like it. And even with this tie-in, I don't know. It's kind of just there for me. All right, coming in at number 2 when it comes to Absolute Flash, this is issue 9. This was a solid book this week as we get to see Wally kind of team up with the Rogues. And at first he's, not going to go with them. He's like, I don't want to go with you guys. But when his dad is involved, he's like, oh, well, if my dad's still alive and I'll go with you guys. So he's kind of, forced to go with them. But then you think that the Rogues are, the Rogues are kind of like trying to figure out things for themselves as well, and then there's a traitor amongst the Rogues also, and you'll have to read that to find out. Kind of hard not to like spoil this book, but it was another solid read. The artwork was pretty good as well. Jeff Lemire does, again, a lot of slow burn writing, so I don't think there's a lot of story progression in here. You just get to see someone betray the Rogues and, look after themselves here. So it was pretty good. Looking forward to seeing what happens in the next issue. But my number 1 pick, believe it or not, I almost dropped this book for DC this week, is Justice League Red. This is issue 4. So I would almost call this like the unofficial tie-in to DCKO because it very much evolves everything that's going on, or at least before the tournament actually happens, with DCKO tie-in. It's just like, you got Black Adam that's involved in it, and he wants to go to Earth, and he could possibly take on Darkseid to be the champion of Earth and rule it for his own purposes. So that was explained in this particular issue. The problem with this series, though, is that there's so much talking heads, and there's not a lot that goes on. This is what you get. You get the team at hand here, and they're just like, blah, 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 blah. And there's just like no other way to explain the story that's in hand except for them just standing around and talking. And so that makes it for not a very fun comic book to read. But I do like how it is tied into DCKO. And then by the time you do get to the end of it, you wind up getting to see our heroes face Black Adam here. But it's not at a positive result, right? So yeah, this was the best book that I read, at least here for After the Pull when it comes to DC this week. We'll find out when it comes to After the Pull. Welcome to Independent Comics, and we have 5 independent comics to discuss this week. And a lot of them were just really, really good. It always seems like independents are better than any other book out there, right? But coming in at number 5, we have Space Ghost. This is issue 5. So this is a second part of this little story here where we have these shark people facing off against like these crystal people, and they're on this planet Glastor, and we wind up just getting to see that there is a traitor amongst the shark people. They don't want peace. They want to be the ruler of the shark or fish people or whatever it is. And we just wind up seeing Space Ghost and Jan and Jace come to the conclusion of that. And yeah, it was fine for what it was. I don't know if this story could have been 2 issues long, but it was still fun to see the great artwork, the great action that this book does provide, and I'm just looking forward to the next story. Wasn't my favorite story out of the bunch, but still a really, really good book. There's never a bad issue of Space Ghost. All right, coming in at number 4, we have Exquisite Corpses. This is issue 7. Probably last time I ever see my boy, the Gamer Kid. He's definitely got eliminated in this book. And in this issue, we wind up getting to see things starting to condense, and you wind up getting to see more of our players in this game fight each other. They're coming closer and closer. There's this big fire, and we wind up just getting to see, I think it's like the lone gunman battle against the fox and whatnot. So there was some good fighting action in there. You wind up getting to see 2 other players get eliminated in this issue also, and it was just really good. Just always lots of action and good fighting, and being that there was this big explosion that happens at the end of this comic book, right? And I'm not going to tell you which players got killed, but the whole feed winds up going out, and now the owners of the fighters here, the ones that pay millions of dollars to play in this tournament, they don't have access to it. And now shit's going to hit the fan here. And I'm just like, oh, dang. And then even if you're looking to see what happens in the bracket at the end, you don't get to see it either. So I thought that was actually really cool and creative. This book definitely doesn't disappoint. Always really like it. But man, there was some really good independence this week. So coming in at number 3, believe it or not, man, I struggled with picking my 1 through 3. But at number 3, we have G.I. Joe issue 14. Just a fun issue here with Duke and Cobra Commander trying to escape from the Dreadnoks. Destro has his own plan in place to do with Cobra organization, and you just get to see again this one long chase that happens. The artwork in this book is absolutely phenomenal. It's just high octane, doesn't ever stop. I mean, you just get like 9-panel grids, like 3, 6, 9, top, bottom here. It was just so much fun to see. You wind up seeing Duke and Cobra try to escape these guys, but there's a character that makes his appearance at the end, and you're just like, oh. And honestly, I wasn't sure who this character was. I had to look it up, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, man. So yeah, great stuff here. Definitely recommend G.I. Joe. It's not going to be disappointing. I love the action that's in this book right now. All right, coming in at number 2 is actually 2 issues combined, and this goes to The Sacrificers issue 16, and I followed it up by issue 17. So I did not get that copy of Sacrificers till late last time around, but 17 came in on time, and I wound up getting to see reading 16 on what happened to Solola, how she kind of came at peace to be with her father once again and to be the princess of the gods, right? So this book does open up issue 17 with her, being a goddess once again and kind of ruling alongside with her father, right? And it was just very entertaining here. And what happens is you wind up getting to see the entire kingdom here starting to drink that elixir once again. And you're just like, man, I can't believe she joined her father again, and everything that she went against, they're going to be drinking this stuff again. I was like, oh my God. However, this book does take a crazy twist at the end where I did not see coming, and I'm like, wow. I am so happy that I decided not to stop reading this, because honestly, it took such a long break and I wasn't into it, but I was like, all right, I'm getting 17. Let me see if I can read 16 and 17 back to back, and I am happy I did. What an ending for this book. Holy crap, dude. That was insane. All right, but my top pick, however, for the indies this week, once again, goes to Everything Dead and Dying, issue 3. I love books that have to do with family. I love books that have to do with apocalypse. And this is one of those books where it has all those things combined to make that perfect storm, right? This book was so well done, as this time around, we wind up getting to see Jack continuing to deal with these players that are these characters that invaded his farm, and at first maybe their intentions were good, and then things just went south, and now we wind up seeing Jack has a hostage for himself here, and what happens is he wants to trade in one of theirs, and then he just says, okay, I will give you your person back, and you need to walk away. You need to just leave us alone. And just, oh my God, by the time you wind up getting to the end of this thing, all shit went south. I mean, I felt so sorry for Jack, and we also get to see continued flashbacks of him as well when his daughter was young, and all those different things, and just he's trying to make amends for his past, because in the past he was just a very I would say he just wasn't a very good father, and he wasn't a very good husband. And you know, to see him love his daughter now and take care of him through the thick and thin, and then possibly lose everything by the time you got to the end of this issue, it was just so sad, you know. And that's what I liked about it. You know, it's very emotional, and that's what I liked about The Walking Dead, and that's what I like about this series as well. Now, there's only 2 issues left of this. I don't know how this is going to end, if there's going to be a volume 2. Does our main character die? Does he kill himself? Like, what happens, right? Such a really well-told story. Definitely my top pick of the week when it comes to this comic. And now it's time for the pick of the week. And this is why you guys subscribe, because the first group of comics I talk about are the newest issue 1s in the series called Worthy Ones. So if you guys want to see that video in detail, go ahead and check that out. I'll leave that at the end of this video. But the comics that were discussed were Capes issue 1, Nova Centurion issue 1, Spider-Man Holiday Spectacular issue 1, Final Boss issue 1, which is a pretty badass comic. And then we have Spawn the Dark Ages issue 1, Ferocious issue 1, and last but not least, Batman Deadpool. This is issue 1 from DC Comics. So what was my top pick in Worthy Ones for the week? Well, believe it or not, it went to Spider-Man the Holiday Spectacular issue 1. This is a Marvel comic. Like, I tell you, Rainbow Rowell wrote a masterpiece here, and I'm not going to lie, this is probably one of the best, if not the best, Spider-Man comics I have read for the year. So if you want to see this comic book discussed in detail, check out Worthy Ones. Awesome, awesome book. So here we go, guys. The final 4 comic books. Which one gets pick of the week? Is it Spider-Man Holiday Spectacular, Everything Dead and Dying? Is it Justice League Red issue 4? Or is it One World Under Doom issue 9? Can you guys guess? I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And the winner winds up going to Everything Dead and Dying. That's issue 3. Just too strong an emotional issue for Spider-Man to overtake that comic book. This is a really well-told story when it comes to independence right now, man. Oh my God. So good. So congratulations to Everything Dead and Dying issue 3. You win again. Welcome to the classic realm as I talk about a classic story, and right now we are going through the pages of Nightfall, and today's issue came out on April 13th, 1993. This is Batman issue 494. This is Nightfall Part 5, 32 pages for $1.25. This comic book is written by, who is it? Doug Monick? I don't know if I said that name. And Jim Aparo does the artwork in this particular issue. Now, in this book, we wind up getting to see the Joker and Cornelius Stirk go after Commissioner Gordon, but it doesn't work out all that well, right? We also wind up getting to see what happens with Robin in this issue after he was dealing with Killer Croc and Bane in the issue, as well as he was in the sewers of Gotham and he had to find a way to escape. So I do like how they kind of continued right off of the last issue, and he finds to escape and he winds up going back to Wayne Manor. Him, Bruce, and Alfred all wind up talking with each other. Bruce is trying to recover, lick his wounds a little bit. Alfred just puts up his hands and he says, my God, you guys are both beyond help at this point. So you wind up getting to see Batman go out on a mission once again. In the meantime, you wind up getting to see Joker and Cornelius Sturck go after the commissioner, and that was kind of a fail. So what happens? Well, you wind up seeing Joker team up with Scarecrow. So he ups the ante, and Scarecrow took it as kind of like an insult. He's kind of like, why would you team up with an amateur like that when you can actually team up with me? So what happens in the issue, you just wind up getting to see the Joker and Scarecrow go after the mayor of the town right now. So yeah, this one I don't think was as strong, but I still liked it. And what I liked about this one really was that it took a break from some of the action, and we just had a down-to-earth conversation with Robin, Batman, and Alfred in this issue, which I thought was really entertaining. So definitely, again, not the strongest. I think the last issue was probably one of my favorite, but this has been fun trying to go through these issues of Nightfall. So what did you guys think of this issue when you read it? And there you guys have it. There are all my thoughts and opinions on all of the comic books this week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And do you agree or disagree? Always want to hear those comments down below. I will leave you more content right here. In case you didn't check out Worthy Ones, go ahead, click on it. Full details on all those newest issue ones that came out for the current comic book week. And as always, guys, support your local comic shops. Keep buying, keep collecting, but always, always read your comics so we can have great comic conversation. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you real soon.